Welcome to the Cala Builders podcast.
Hello.
So today we are diving into what is, it's arguably the most critical and, let's be honest, often the most complex phase of building a new custom home here in Los Angeles.
Oh, absolutely.
Getting your blueprints right and navigating the permit gauntlet.
And this deep dive is really for you if you're planning any new construction in LA, Pasadena, the San Fernando Valley, or Santa Monica. We're basically trying to give you a shortcut here. It's a guide to understanding what the Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety, the LADBS, actually requires.
Right.
Getting this part wrong up front is, I would say, the #1 source of costly delays and just immense frustration.
Absolutely. The goal today is to go beneath the surface, to understand these drawings not just as pictures, but as legal technical documents.
Exactly.
And to guide us through this whole regulatory maze, we're tapping into the insider knowledge of Cala Builders. They're a full-service construction and remodeling company based right here in LA, specializing in high-end residential projects. And for your reference, they operate under license number 1032013.
And their whole mission is to bring your vision to life, but, and this is the key part, that vision has to be compliant first.
That's the perfect way to put it. Okay, so let's unpack this. When a client starts a project, they're thinking about aesthetics, right?
Of course.
Where does the kitchen go? What are the ceiling heights? But architectural plans are so much more than just pretty drawings.
They're the detailed instructions for every single professional on site. And they're the binding contract with the city.
So in a place like LA, which is so dense and highly regulated, your plans are really the project's foundation.
They are. They have to be accurate, comprehensive, and, demonstrably compliant with local standards before LADBS will even look at issuing that permit. They're the proof that your home is safe.
Safe, sustainable, and that it follows zoning law. So if you're a homeowner working with an architect, what is the required full set of plans you need for a ground-up build? It's much more than just what the house looks like from the street, isn't it?
Oh, it's way more. It requires this deep collaboration between the architect and several different engineers. We see 6 crucial components that have to be there and, more importantly, have to be coordinated.
Okay, give us the breakdown. What's number 1?
First is the site plan. You can think of this as the master document for the property.
A bird's eye view.
That's it. It shows the property boundaries, the existing topography, and the required setbacks, which is how far your house has to sit from the property lines.
And that's a huge deal.
A huge deal. In LA, especially on hillside properties, this plan also dictates your grading and drainage, which that often requires its own separate complex grading permit.
So the site plan really anchors the structure to the lot. And this is where you can first run into a zoning issue, right?
Oh, immediately.
If your setbacks are off by even an inch, the plan check just stops cold.
It's rejected. Precisely. So after that, second, you have the traditional floor plans. These show your room layouts, dimensions, where doors and windows go, all the circulation paths. They're also really crucial for confirming accessibility compliance.
Right. And then the third and fourth components, they kind of give us the outside and inside views.
Yes. So third are the elevations. They depict all the exterior facades and roof lines.
And that's where the city is checking height limits.
Exactly. Especially in sensitive neighborhoods or areas with view protection ordinances. And then fourth are the sections.
Sections.
Think of them as vertical cuts right through the building. They show ceiling heights, how the foundation meets the frame, all the material transitions. If you have a complex roof, the section drawings have to be perfect.
Okay, so now we get into the really specialized engineering documents. I have to imagine this is the highest stakes part of the whole submission, especially in a seismically active area like LA.
They absolutely are. So fifth, you need the structural drawings.
Done by a structural engineer?
Prepared by a licensed structural engineer. Yes. They specify the foundation design, which is critical for LA soils, the framing, the load paths, all the resistance systems. This is where the engineer proves the home can handle an earthquake.
And if you're in a steep slope,
The complexity of those calculations just jumps exponentially.
what about the systems that, make the house actually livable?
That's the 6th and final component, the MEP plans. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. These detail all of your technical systems, HVAC, electrical panels, utility connections, and crucially in California, these plans must rigorously show compliance with Title 24.
Ah, Title 24. California's energy code, that's a huge point of failure for a lot of plans, isn't it?
It really is.
It's not just about buying an energy-efficient fridge. It's about the whole building's performance.
Yes, the LADBS reviewers are looking at energy compliance modeling. If your MEP plans don't show, sufficient insulation values or high-efficiency HVAC systems with the calculations to back it up, your plan check will stall.
Doesn't matter how perfect the structural stuff is.
Doesn't matter at all. These 6 components all coordinated, that's what makes a complete submission.
Okay, so once the drawings are impeccable, we hit the city machine. And here's where it gets really interesting. Because it's not a single rubber stamp.
Not at all.
It's this iterative, sometimes exhausting process called the plan check. So what does that LADBS process look like? What are they really enforcing?
Well, the LADBS is the essential regulatory body. They're using this formal plan review to enforce the California Building Code, plus all the local LA amendments, safety standards, and zoning ordinances.
They're not just trying to be difficult.
No, they are legally required to ensure public safety and compliance.
So let's talk phases. In phase 1, the plan submission, what do you need besides those 6 drawings?
Beyond the drawing, the structural calculations proving safety, the energy modeling we just talked about, and sometimes specific environmental reports, soil reports, geological reports, detailed grading plans, especially if you're doing a lot of excavation or you're near a fault line. An incomplete package is just the first classic delay.
And then the plans go into the review, phase 2. The back and forth, the corrections loop that just strikes fear into homeowners. You said it's iterative.
It is.
Can you paint a picture of that?
Yeah.
What does a typical plan check cycle really look like?
You should think of the plan review and corrections not as one step, but often 2 or 3 really intense rounds of scrutiny.
Okay.
You have city reviewers who are specialized, one for architecture, one for structural, one for MEP, and they will digitally redline your plans.
So they're literally drawing on them, showing the mistakes.
Exactly. They send back comments requiring corrections or clarifications or missing calculations. If you're lucky, you get through in 2 rounds. If you're unprepared, it can stretch on for months.
So the timeline isn't just the city's backlog. It's really about how fast and how accurately your design team can address every single one of those red lines.
Precisely. Responding promptly and, more importantly, comprehensively is the difference between losing 6 weeks and losing 6 months.
I can imagine.
Common corrections are often just clarifying ambiguous details, or maybe there's a conflict between the architectural design and the structural path.
Right.
Or updating Title 24 calculations because the first submission didn't meet the energy targets.
And once that whole arduous review is finally done, we get to phase 3.
Permit issuance. That's the moment of truth. Once all the corrections are made and all compliance is verified, from height limits to utility hookups, the LADBS issues the building permit. That piece of paper is your official authorization to start construction.
So to summarize for everyone listening, the plans have to satisfy 3 main compliance categories. Let's just underline why each one is so challenging in LA specifically.
Okay, so start with the local building codes. We adopt the California Building Code, but LA has its own amendments.
Right, local flavor.
And these amendments, they often tighten the rules on fire safety, which is crucial in hillside areas, and of course, structural integrity for seismic readiness. You need people who know the LA-specific nuances, not just the state code.
Okay. And second, zoning and land use rules.
Mm-hmm.
This seems to be where a lot of dream designs have to get scaled back.
It's critical. LA's zoning is incredibly complex. It can vary street by street. You have to adhere to the property's specific zoning for setbacks, floor area ratio, or FAR and height limits. And if you're building an ADU, that's a whole separate set of rules.
And finally, the structural and safety details. What's the #1 thing for LA's unique environment?
Foundation design. It is paramount. Our soil conditions are so varied, from clay to rock, so the plans have to include detailed foundation and framing design with engineer calculations that explicitly address seismic and lateral loads.
I mean, this all sounds incredibly time-consuming and expensive and just prone to delays.
It can be.
So what does this mean for the homeowner who's facing this complex timeline? How do you simplify this process?
Well, the core strategy for getting a swift approval is to eliminate all the preventable errors before you even submit.
So be proactive.
Be proactive. It means working with architects and builders who are intimately familiar with local LADBS procedures, with the common things reviewers comment on, and with LA's specific code amendments.
And this brings us right to the strategic advantage of the design-build model, which Cala Builders uses.
Exactly.
For the client, how does putting design and construction under one roof? How does that specifically solve the problem of that plan check corrections loop?
It creates accountability, and it eliminates all the finger pointing.
Yeah.
In the traditional method, you have an architect who designs, an engineer who calculates, and a builder who prices it. And they often work in silos.
Right. 3 separate companies.
And if the LADBS flags a structural detail that doesn't fit the architectural intent, those 3 teams now have to get together and reconcile it. That can lead to weeks of delay.
You're basically saying the inefficiency is built right into the process itself.
It is. With the design-build model, you combine the architectural planning, the engineering, the permitting, and the construction, all of it under one roof. We vet the structural and MEP compliance during the design phase.
So you're catching problems before they ever get to the city.
We're proactively addressing Title 24 issues and setback conflicts before the plans even leave our office.
That sounds like a powerful way to mitigate risk. And the sources point to 4 really measurable benefits for the client with this model.
They are measurable, especially in a market like LA. First, you get streamlined communication. You have a single point of contact and a unified team.
No more phone tag between 3 different firms.
None. And that directly leads to the second benefit, faster timelines. Because there's no friction between separate companies, the design-build team can respond to plan check comments instantly and accurately.
And what about the money side of it?
That's third. Better budget control. The cost of construction is factored into the design from day one. You don't end up with these beautiful, expensive plans that you can't actually afford to build.
And the 4th benefit.
You achieve high-quality outcomes because the vision from the designer is executed precisely by the constructor on the same team. You get consistency from start to finish.
That coordination seems vital, especially for the kinds of projects Cala Builders is known for: intricate hillside construction, complex luxury remodels, or custom ADUs from the ground up.
Right. They understand that marrying cutting-edge solutions like smart home tech or advanced energy efficiency with guaranteed LADBS compliance, that's the real value. They turn regulatory complexity into a strategic advantage.
And that really brings us to our final takeaway. Mastering the permit process in LA takes more than just good ideas. It demands comprehensive, coordinated plans that cover those 6 key components perfectly.
And working with experienced pros who know how to navigate and, maybe more importantly, minimize the duration of that LADBS plan check.
That's the key.
And here's a final thought for you to explore as you plan your build. Receiving the building permit authorizes you to start, but it doesn't authorize you to finish.
Oh, that's interesting.
The true end goal is the certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
Construction involves mandatory periodic inspections by the city at critical stages: foundation, framing, electrical rough-in. If at any point the work deviates from the approved plans, the project stops immediately.
So that certificate of occupancy is the city's final stamp, confirming the entire home was built safely and matches the blueprints.
It's the only measure of success. That final approval is the official green light for your family to move in.
That is such a critical point. So if you're ready to begin planning your new home, or you just need expert execution on a complex project across the LA area, reach out to Cala Builders for a consultation. Again, their license number is 1032013.